Please, the show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
2 touchdowns in about a minute. So he said, we're not out of it until we're out of it.
It's true. They had the ball on Seattle's side of the field. And this time, they've got Deontay Burnett with no one near him. How did Deontay get that free? 85-yard touchdown.
Okay, Patriot. Patriot, ball in the middle of the field. Okay, here we go.
85 yards.
We got
Let's go. Deontay Burnett just sets up the DC defenders.
Welcome to this edition of the X-Man Show Tuesday. Come on in. And welcome you. Wild one, as always, the A-Train Arlington Lane. Where is my co-host? And why is my producer messing with him? Okay, there he is.
Steve Spurrier. That was courtesy of the XFL and ESPN. Welcome to the show. We are the X-Fan Show. We are the video cast that X out all the other podcasts. How are you today?
In St. Louis, man. I know he's doing
That's
his
right.
thing.
So we started out the show with Deontay Burnett with actually the longest play of the year, passing yard of the year for the XFL. And Arlington, you had posed the question as we're getting ready to get the show going. Another wild week in the XFL has ended, and we are here to talk about it. Can anybody stop DC? But the question you forgot to ask is, can anybody stop DC, or did the South Division just get exposed? That's the questions, the two biggest questions that we will have for today, and then Kyle SLOTER gets released. Listen, all of you Renegades fans, we told you right here on this show. We actually told you in November's 15th, 16th, and 17th, when we were at the draft with the great one, the mayor himself. We told you how the Renegades were going to be this year. And did we lie, Arlington?
That they playing 500 ball, man. That's it. That's all.
Did we lie, Arlington?
No, we didn't lie, man.
We did not lie because we always tell the truth and we are not fake news.
Hey, but one thing for sure, though. Wait. Before we get to that, one thing though with Kyle SLOTER, man, I think his mouth got him in a lot of trouble.
I do too. You know what though? Hey, before we even go any further, I do have to say something. Us here at the. I'm getting ready to say it before we even get going, really. Us here at the X-Fan Show and the X-Fan Legion, B-Hawk Live, myself and Arlington, Rough 'em Up Podcast, Smoking Guns, we're all about family. And yesterday, 3 innocent children, 6 adults, or 3 adults lost their lives due to gun violence in Nashville, Tennessee at a private school. It's becoming unnecessary for all of this stuff, regardless of what side that you stand on or whatever. 6 innocent people lost their life due to gun violence. And from the bottom of my heart, I know from my partner's heart, Arlington and the X-Fan Legion and the X-Fan Show, we send our deepest regrets and our deepest sympathies and our thoughts and prayers to Nashville, Tennessee as of right now, because we do have fans in Nashville. And much love, thoughts, and prayers from you guys. And we're just going to do a little bit of a moment of silence real quick. I just think it's fitting because, Arlington, you know how well we are about family and everything here on the show. So I would love to do a little moment of silence real quick. Okay, now back to the craziness, Arlington. That is the show.
Got to do that.
It was just beating on me as we were talking about it. So it was just beating on me, so I just had to say it. All right, Arlington, back to what you were saying about Kyle SLOTER.
he opened his mouth a bit, man. And listen, the problem with that
Who
is
called it?
what we
Who
talked
called it?
about. And I'm getting to that. Is what we talked about. How shake it up, Chuck, and even John Hayes himself is something is not correlating here. This run pass offense that they decided to correlate and use is not working. Case in point, they lost to a team that they should have beaten. Arlington lost to a team that they should have beat yesterday. And lost, was it 15-9, 12-9? But or Chuck Long needs to take over something, man. Like something has to give, man.
One of the two.
Because if this continues, San Antonio is going to surpass them, right? And their defense is actually pretty good. Shout out to Luke Barku. Luke Barku is by far. I know we talk about Mike Joseph. We talk about Genie Harris, who got a questionable penalty against him last night. Because a lot of craziness happened in that Houston DC game that we're gonna touch a little bit on.
Well, is that the game you want to start? Is that the game you want to start with? Because I know that you and Colin will break it down. And our show is to break down all four games. So since you brought up Houston and Arlington, or Houston and DC, let's start there. I mean, as you see, a lot of people say that there were a lot of penalties thrown, a lot of flags thrown by the ref. I've been seeing a lot of that stuff.
Houston.
Houston, yes.
Houston.
Now, here's the question. And I'm glad this is how we started this show. And is it that DC is just so well coached on all three phases? Or is it that Houston has been exposed and is not as well of a coach team as we thought they were?
Well, that was exposed against Seattle. Unfortunate. Because we were expecting 5-0 teams to go against each other going into this matchup, right?
Correct.
And so even though they had 4 turnovers, they were able to commit on Seattle's, offensive side, and they still lost 21-14. And then this week they had to minimize. They had a great first. They were the first ones to score.
Right here.
And I still want to see the video. Where's the video? Where is the proof? There was no proof on the telecast.
Right. Did you see the head ref, who is actually a very good referee? He's been in the NFL. He's a really good referee. What was his name? What is the guy's name?
Reggie Smith.
Huh?
Reggie Smith.
Yeah, Reggie Smith. I actually like him. He's one of the best referees in the game today. And when the guy came up to him and said, he squirted water on me.
And he looked at him like,
he goes,
really? And I'm like, show me some evidence. Was there something on your shirt? Or is there something on the back of your shirt? Did you feel something wet? Like, come on, man. Are you serious right now? And the dude said, Gene Harris said, I'm just getting off the field. So I'm like, I need video evidence of that. Because a lot of people right now, as we sit here talking on this show, are against Dean Blandino. Against him. Like, what in the hell? Dean Blandino, listen, he got all the cameras in the stadium, and still some of the calls are not being made. Case in point, sir, pull up that Seattle and Orlando video and play that for me.
Well, let's play that one for when we talk about Seattle and Orlando.
But there's a reason for that.
Okay, prime example. Look, as much as we've given Jordan love on this show, and as much as we've talked trash on Silvers, what was the difference between what Jordan Ta'amu did compared to what Jordan or Brandon Silvers did? There was no difference. It was the exact same play. But yet one guy got an intentional grounding and the other guy didn't get an intentional grounding. It just seems, it just seems like there were some different things. Now, again, it could be, like I said, like you had mentioned in the game before, that we saw Seattle kind of expose Houston, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it really that the South just isn't that good?
No, it's not that the South ain't just get good. It's gonna be competitive at the end of the day. It's gonna be a
Is the
very
South as
competitive.
competitive as the North?
Of course not, and not the way it's looking right now because you have three teams that are over 500, and
Mm-hmm.
you got a Vegas team that's scrambling to figure out who their quarterback is. The same way with Orlando has their guy. It's just that they brought him in, kind of late into the game at this point, and so Vegas is flustered. Arlington is at 500 right now. San Antonio is just below 500, so it's like a game away from each. It's 2 games back from San Antonio to get first right now, or lead the division. So
See, we have Texas Pete saying here last week's loss against Seattle was a fair game. We lost fair and square last night and was a setup. You could see it in the coach's face, and I mean,
almost like that was a trap. It was a true trap game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to look at it going, he might be right that it kind of was. B-Hawk one says, I wish we had one division and the 4 top playoff teams. You know what? I'm actually going to talk about that later in the show. What I think is going to happen in the playoffs. We'll talk about that one a little later.
Andrew says here, reps and babies. Did you see Real Muto from the Phillies get tossed from the spring training game for moving his glove? Yeah, I did see that. I saw that video, and that was quite embarrassing. And the guy that did it was from AAA, and he was up to do spring training, and then he also he's a fill-in, so he felt like he was showing him up. So my guess is that supposed incident from Gene Harris happened on yesterday. That showing him up, so he pulled a Randy Moss. I just need to see the video evidence. If there's video evidence on it, y'all got cameras everywhere in the stadium. You mean to tell me that there was nothing being said? Of course, that's going to be said now, Brian. Come on now, man. Come on. The refs are being fair. Are you serious right now? He did that for press conference purposes. Look,
you know me, Arlington. I'll go back and I'll watch we watch all the games, right? Okay, I'll watch all the games. Okay, I started to rewatch the Houston DC game before we went on the air, right? I couldn't watch it after the first penalty. It really was bad. I mean, the officiating last night might have been at its worst in last night's game. I mean, I couldn't get through. I couldn't get through the first quarter because the officiating was so bad. It really was that bad. You know what I mean?
Make sure you check out your new huddle is out. It's about the XFL championship, so make sure you do.
Well, but, I mean, shit. Since everybody wants to talk about the new huddle and the championship, I do have something I would like to talk about that. But anyways, this is the X Fan Show, and we are talking all XFL. I'll talk about it later on in the show. But again, Arlington, let's ask the question, okay? Is DC just that good, or did the South Division get exposed? That's
they are
the main
well
question.
coached. DC is well coached, and you can see Barlow's demeanor on the sideline. It's unfazed. By any means necessary. Like it don't matter. If they were down, he would be unfazed. If they were up, they were unfazed. Even
when they're down, they still stick to their game plan. They know what their game plan is. It's running. They know how it's built, right? They know how their team is. And just like B-Hawk said up here, right here. And they said it last night. DC threw the ball and they showed they can. And again, Arlington, I posed the question to you last night. Is Jordan Ta'amu possibly the best spring football player that we have seen?
And here's the thing. He's the smart one, right? And especially this season here with a coaching staff like Fred Cost. If you watch the game, you heard Jordan Ta'amu talk about him and how much he's meant to not just this season, but his career. He's like right there. He's very smart with the ball. and he has the right person to help get him there, and Fred Koss as the offensive coordinator for the defenders.
Mhm.
That's a perfect choice. And so they know how to work hand in hand. And like they were talking about last night on the game, is that even when the defenders were on defense, Koss was getting ready for another series
Mhm.
for Jordan Teamu. So he's been
Mhm.
playing very, very smart. He's not making inadvertent throws. And he does take, and he has been taking shots down the field too. That has been seen. And even looking at last night's numbers from him, he was at was it 19 to 32? Is that
Yeah, you're right.
19 to
19 for
32?
132. Yep. Mhm.
A couple of touchdowns and stuff. So yeah.
2 touchdowns. Mhm.
Is that my guy? Is that my guy on now?
It is. He is here. He's going to join
Bring him
us.
in.
So let's pull him up. This is the other co-host of the Rough 'em Up podcast. Arlington has replaced me, with this guy. But hey, no hard feelings. I replaced Arlington with somebody that looks better than him and Amanda on the B-Hawk Live show on Wednesdays. But let's bring in Colin Watkins. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are y'all doing?
We're doing good. So,
good.
Colin,
Hey.
the main question we have, okay, and that we've been talking about this first 15 minutes of the show is, and let's ask you, is DC really just that good? Or has the South been exposed for not a very good division? That's the main question.
That's a great question. I've been thinking about it, and my point of view, I think DC is really just that good. Sure, the South, clearly the weaker division of the two, but you can't deny the fact that DC is by far the greatest team in the XFL by far. I mean, look at Jordan Teamu now. He's passing the ball. That's something I wanted to see him do early on in the year, and I said if he was going to pass the ball well, the defenders are going to be unstoppable, and look what's happened. Abram Smith, he's, in my opinion, he could be an MVP based on these past 2 weeks, but they're really that good in that defense. Oh, that defense, scary. They're good. They're elite.
And it's funny because in the beginning of the year, we all talked about how good Houston's defense was.
Mm-hmm.
And then Houston's, and then all of a sudden, just DC's defense under Greg Williams has just really completely taken this league over. I mean, I think since game 1 where they barely lost to Seattle, right?
They barely won.
Yeah, they barely won, but you've seen week after week after week, this team just keeps getting better. And it seems, in my opinion, every other team has kind of taken a step back, with the exception of maybe one with Seattle, as they've started to improve on the offense and the defense. But in my opinion, every other team has kind of regressed and taken a step back as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, am I wrong or am I right? Do you guys agree or do you guys disagree?
I look at it like this: when it comes to the DC defenders, all aspects on their team are great. They have a great secondary. They have a great front seven. And I know we said that with Houston. I think, me personally, I overlooked DC on that edge because at the time I was looking at just what they were doing with the rushing attack and then the secondary. Now it looks like all aspects: passing, rushing, receiving, because of Lucky Jackson, you got to throw him in there in this case, right? And then on the defensive end, you're looking at their front seven. They had, as Jared put, back-to-back sacks on one series. And then not only that, they got an interception last night. So all aspects right now are on all cylinders. And like you said, Greg Williams is doing a phenomenal job with this defense so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really is. And I was also thinking too about, Derek King and stuff. Is he really even needed anymore based on what we saw, yesterday? I don't know. They're looking so good. And I like what you said, Dirty, about the other teams sort of regressing. no offense to the Renegades or the Brahmas at all, but these past 2 weeks, I might have fell asleep for both of their games. It's just, especially the Renegades offense. You have Kyle SLOTER getting released. I don't know what's going on with them. The Brahmas, they're having their own quarterback issues. So the South is looking wide open for the Roughnecks to take still. I'm still confident in that. But man, those series of games were rough to watch. The Brahmas and Renegades ones.
And here's the thing I'll say with Houston. I mean, look, I know I've been a big Silver supporter. Silver's done good, but what we've seen in the last 2 weeks is, as the mayor likes to say, Bo Callahan has showed up finally. Bo Callahan is here for the Houston Roughnecks. And if I'm Wade Phillips and I'm AJ Smith, I'm going to Cole McDonald.
Yep.
I'm going to Cole McDonald right away.
What we saw last night.
Yes.
I know that sounds crazy.
Yes.
Hold on, ready? 8 for 11, 179 yards and 1 touchdown, and 1 was 85 yards.
He has the arm. He has the arm, and he is mobile. You're going to have to switch it up. Like he just showcased last night, even though they lost by 11 points, that I can do this. You put the ball in my hand.
But 11 points we've seen. 11 points in the XFL is just a 1-possession game.
2.
Well,
let's get it right.
Okay.
2.
I mean, okay, but it ain't like it is in the NFL where you're down and you're out.
Even with that said, this was my thing last night. I was looking for them to scoring the 3-point conversion when they first scored that touchdown, because then it would have been an 8-point game. They would have did the 4th and 15 had they converted that, got down the field, which they already were in disarray because they had 1 timeout at the time, and because they were trying to, for the longest time during the 3rd and 4th quarter, was figuring out if Wade was going to throw that challenge flag. He was trying to figure that out all game, the second half. Can I throw it now? Do I need to? And then the whole thing with the penalties that played a huge part in them trying to get down the field and try to at least catch DC in that effect, but it kept drawing them back. And then Jack Heflin got tossed for a low blow, and that hurt. And a lot of people saying, I'm seeing in the chat saying Jonte Kirkland was missed. Yes, he was, but that's where next man up comes into play. That's what people had to remember. That even though you don't have your best playmaker, they have playmakers on that team. Deontay Burnett, Cedric Byrd, those are guys right there that can get the ball and make something happen if you give it to them. So in that case right there, receiver core, they were fine. In my opinion, they were fine there. It's just that it was discipline, and it looked like on the surface, that discipline just wasn't going to happen with this Houston and DC game. Houston especially.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree. As you see here, we saw last night why Wade Phillips isn't in the NFL. He's lost a step or two. Watching him trying to call some plays and working with his assistants was painful. And sometimes, maybe.
I disagree with you.
Here it says, look at Wade Phillips' track records for how his teams fall apart in the back half of the season. Again,
I disagree with that.
Right here, Wade Phillips was a Super Bowl DC in 2015. Give them respect. Here's what I'll say. I think what we've seen, like Colin said right as he joined us on at the show, I'm saying the South isn't as good as the North, and it's been exposed. It's been exposed, right? So I don't think it's that Houston is that bad. I still think they are the second best team in the XFL, but they've been exposed against better teams of the North. That's just my opinion.
Here's my thing. Seattle is not better than Houston, in my opinion. They just, at that moment, they riding on a high, and they were able to get the dub against Houston. In my eyes, they're not a better team over the Houston Roughnecks.
They're not.
I agree with you. I agree.
No, Seattle is not better than Houston, Brian. I'm sorry.
I said Houston.
No.
Is the
This
second-best
is what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Right?
No.
They're not better than Houston. They're just
Not at all.
You got lucky. Let's just put it like that. And right, thank you. This team almost took an L to Orlando. So no, I'm not going to buy that. I'm not buying that at all. So at this point right now, Houston is still number 2, but they got that. They have a matchup against the number 3 team that we like, and that's the St. Louis Battlehawks, and they're going to be angry, like angry, because you dropping 2 and then you're at home. Because if you lose another game at home, it opens up the floodgates in the South, and then what it's doing for Battlehawks is giving them more confidence in the North to the point where they're going to go against DC, and they still got Seattle on their back, but still it's going to make that North Division even more interesting. So that is a big game, and I understand why it's picked as Sunday's game of the week. I get it now. Like even if we got to Houston being undefeated or 5-1 at this point, it was something that the Battlehawks were going to try and reach for when they got to that last matchup of week 7.
No, I agree.
That's going to be here.
Let's get into the other game. Since this is the X-Fan Show. I am one of your co-hosts, Dirty. Right next to me is my partner in crime, the one and the only
A-Train Arlington Lane, baby.
Who also co-hosts a show that you can catch on Thursdays called the Rough 'Em Up Podcast with the guy
baby.
right below me, who is
Cullen Watkins.
Woo. Yeah, Mr. Roughneck himself.
Yeah.
Yep. We are talking all XFL. So let's get into it. Let's get into the Seattle and Orlando game. Okay? And Arlington, you said you wanted to pull it up because right now everybody's – which one am I looking for, Arlington? Because you got like 5 clips up here.
If you can see the video, it has like Seattle and Orlando at the bottom. Can you see it?
No, I can't. I'm half blind. You know that.
All right, let me pull it up.
Is it the Terrell Harris 30-yard reception?
No. It's not that one. It is.
Okay. I'll let you pull it up then. See, Cullen, do you have to deal with this on your show, or is he more professional on your show?
Let's just say we're both very professional on our show. We don't have to deal with.
He's not professional on this show at all.
That's a lie. That's a lie, and you know it. I think it's this one here. Here we go.
Dean Blandino back at the XFL Command Center on that last sequence to see what his thoughts were. Dean, it felt like from our perspective, the defense jumped across first.
So the defense did jump on the left side of the defensive line. They actually had the left tackle with the false start first, and the defenders in front of him did not break the neutral zone. So they're only protected is if you have a player jumping into the neutral zone, then that offensive player would be protected from a false start, but it was actually on the other side of the defensive line that jumped in first.
Great perspective. Well, Terrell Buckley
it looked like they
moved on both sides.
25 seconds. I mean, I know Dean has more looks than I have and more technology than I have, but to my naked eye, look like they jumped on both sides.
Thank you. We actually screwed them, but because they.
So what you got, Tom?
Hey, right? Well, you heard it. You heard it, right?
Dean. Good job, Dean.
You heard that, right?
Of course I heard.
You heard that. I want to know that you heard that. That's 35 years.
You screwed that up. Now listen,
exactly. Dean. Hey, that should have led to a protest. Like I was joking last night, and I know somebody caught it. Thanks. Shout out to the pigskin punk. He figured it out that I was joking. But the fact was that I said Houston should protest this game. No, the team that should protest is Orlando. They completely screwed them out of that play. And I know everything went downhill in that game, though. But still, that was a clear missed call. Like, it was there, bright as day. And I just want to know what the command center is like. That's my thing now. I want to see the command center because I'm like, you have so many cameras. I know that can be overwhelming for a guy like Dean Blandino sitting there, and a lot of people are getting on his case because of Sir. what you're doing right now is you're costing people games by little minuscule calls that you just like, okay, there was just this little mini mistake on our part. They're big ones. They're big ones. So, like, something's got to change with that, man.
Right. Now, here's my question that I'd like to ask, okay? And, Colin, maybe you can help me answer this or whatever, right? Is Orlando really just that bad? Are they really just that bad? Because, listen, we know this. We know that this team right here is going to live or die by the Nooch. They're living or dying by Ben DiNucci, right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm surprised Haslett hasn't jumped off a bridge yet or jumped off the Space Needle, with that guy as his quarterback. But he keeps winning. And look, it's exciting to watch Ben DiNucci play, right? It's exciting to watch him play. It's like watching Brett Favre and watching Aaron Rodgers play. But is Orlando just really that bad? I don't think that Normandy is the answer in Orlando.
Right now, he's better than everything. But go ahead, Colin. This is your show. Yeah. This your show.
I don't know. I've been trying to figure out what I've been thinking about Orlando. I don't think they're as. I need to be careful with what I say here.
Yeah, exactly. You do.
I want to say I don't think they're as bad as their record shows, but at the same time, I have to think to myself, why am I saying that? You know, I could be quarterback against this Orlando defense, and I'd probably look like PJ Walker out there. I think this defense makes a lot of teams look really good. You got Cody Latimer. He's one of my favorites. He's really talented. I give all the credit to him, but I don't know. The team just seems undisciplined. I think if I was going to put it down to one word, just an undisciplined team. I want to see them get a win, though. I was rooting for them against Seattle. I wanted to get revenge against Seattle.
I don't want them to get a win. I don't.
Why?
The way that they play, okay? The way that they play, and I disagree. I disagree that Normandy is a B+. I disagree. He isn't. And Jared, I put it up at 32 points from Orlando versus the Vipers. Are the Vipers really that good either?
No.
They just got steamrolled by the Battlehawks, who really aren't that good. Of course, AJ, we'll talk about that later. AJ McCarron finally played his first complete game, but it was against the Vipers. But anyways, you just see all of the stupid penalties that they make on offense and defense for Orlando. We need Steve Spurrier. Is who we need.
Here we go.
No, Orlando doesn't deserve to earn a win. You want to win, play as a team. They're not playing as a team.
Here we go.
Poor Rambo needs to get off of that team and go somewhere else.
No, he's trying to get opportunities just like anybody else right now.
But he ain't getting an opportunity right here. Exactly. Come on.
Steve Spurrier is going to the floor and getting $500.
He should be.
But I can't see it, man. Like,
there's Spurrier.
He couldn't say the Guardians if they started over at 0-0.
Hell no, he couldn't.
Thank you. He couldn't save them. So they're like, we need to stop on this Steve Spurrier thing, man. Like, for real, dude. Like, he's good in retirement. After the debacle he had with the AAF, what's the point of coaching again? He didn't want to do it. He didn't want to do it in Tampa. So what makes you think he wanted to do it again in Orlando? Thank you.
Yeah, Colin, what do you think?
Think about what?
Steve Spurrier.
Was he with the AAF?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ironically, I did not watch the AAF. Like, I was not into the AAF.
Join the club. There wasn't a lot of people into the AF. That's why I pulled it.
There was no Houston team I was not watching.
Listen. Let's talk about Seattle because everybody knows who my favorite quarterback in the league
Yes,
is.
you slobber knock all over him, man.
Let's see if Cullen knows who my favorite quarterback is. Do you know who my favorite quarterback in the league is?
In the
Cullen?
XFL?
Yes.
I have two guesses. Is it either Ben DiNucci or AJ McCarron?
The Nooch, baby. The
He's
Nooch.
all over the Nooch,
The Nooch. The Nooch. Listen.
St. Louis.
Everybody starts chiming in. The Noochie. Listen. Seattle's going to go as far as the Noochie's dumb plays will allow them.
Hey, listen. There could be some real drama in the North Division. There could be some real drama up there. Like,
no, I agree.
Three teams having 7 wins or more. I mean, it's a thought, but it still could happen. You know what I mean? But even as we're talking right now, DC probably will not get another. They won't get a loss this year. If they get one, it probably will be Seattle.
It'll be against the Nooch. It'll be against the Nooch, baby. The Nooch.
Because let's just say they get to 9-0.
What game are we talking about? Are we talking?
No. I'm talking about with the Seattle team because they got to play them at the end of the season. Let's say they get to 9-0, right? Does Barlow sit his starters down? Because you're pretty much in the playoff. You got the home game, or you go for the undefeated season.
Well, here's the problem with DC's backups. They're just as good as their starters.
They'd probably still win.
They probably still win regardless, right? Okay.
Who's their backup running back? Number 20.
Armstead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's a step below Smith.
Yeah,
but not much.
You got a point there, man. Okay.
Like, Colin said, I mean, do we really need to carry King? Because Jordan put a really good game together, but he's starting to get his pass game going. He's a little quick bastard into the holes. So, I mean, is it really going to matter if you sit your starters? Because
he's still going to
have good starters behind them. They still have good players behind them.
There's a reason why Abram Smith was the first pick in the skills player draft. There's a reason
we're seeing it.
But again, is it the thing with Seattle is, I mean, you saw with Seattle, I mean, it doesn't matter. They could care less if they're – you want to talk about a game that the guys that don't care if they're down or not? It's Seattle. They don't give a rat's ass because they're like, oh, we're just going to have Nucci go out there and throw it fucking 400 times and get us back in the game. He may throw us 7 interceptions, but, I mean, how do you get 4 interceptions and still win a football game? How often do you ever see that?
You don't see that often, especially in a league like even in a league like the XFL, with its rules are kind of correlate where you can still make a comeback and whatnot, and 3 interceptions and a fumble at that, and he still won the game.
Wins the game for you.
And even with the game against Orlando, which was heavily penalized for Orlando's sake, because now that's a difference between that game and then the Houston game is discipline. Now it's going to get that bad because Houston's discipline, because they were frustrated, right? Mm-hmm. Orlando's was just silly penalty, no reason.
He goes, the Nooch is the white Jameis Winston. I'm not gonna disagree with you. He is. He is the XFL's version of Jameis Winston. The dude keeps winning. The dude keeps winning. That's all I got to say.
There's no disagreement, I guess, coming from me with that one.
Not wrong.
Look. You got Pearson, who's just 5 foot. Lucky if he's 5 foot tall. He's possibly the shortest player to ever play football. I mean, I guarantee he can't be no more than 4'11".
You're silly at this point.
He looks like Mario on the football field, running around all these King Bowsers. He's just bing, 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 and making catches. He's got a 70.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
He's got a 200-inch leap vertical.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's like watching Spud Webb or Muggsy Bogues playing football. Watching.
Hey, I'm about to say he's that height. He's Spud Webb's height, like really in real life. So
No, I mean, I think he's only 4'11". I really think he is. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I mean, here, like Mike said, shout out to Orlando and Seattle game for drawing over 1 million viewers.
Yes.
I mean, that's awesome. It's great. I'm loving to see that it's I'm loving to see that people are starting to watch the XFL, and that should show the XFL. Put your games on the regular network. Put it on ABC. You know what I'm saying?
But here's the thing, though. The problem with this is
Here
that
it goes. Chris Mason says he's spitting up his food. Hey,
who
keep your
cares,
food down.
man?
Keep your food down. Keep your food down.
Who cares, man?
Why
Stop.
you keep putting it up? I keep trying to take it. You keep putting it up.
No, I'm taking it down. You keep doing that. But anyway, yeah, it was great to see that it was 1 million viewers, but also at the same time, ABC has other commitments. So they're going to commit to what they have already in place. Whether as the XFL in this case is new to television. But I put it like that because they haven't had a long tenure like March Madness has had, on television. So because they're new.
And the last part of his comment says that I can't wait to see the head-to-head numbers with the USFL. It's going to be very telling. Because the USFL is going to be on network television
a lot,
where the XFL will just be on ABC or ESPN. So it's really going to be interesting to see which way these all go. You know what I mean?
I want to see the cable numbers because it's not going to matter to me because on network television they could really potentially draw better, right? It's going to be how they are on cable.
Jared says here, DC wanted Orlando to be featured on ABC to encourage people to go to Disney World. That is true. I did see a lot of Disney World commercials during that game. And the mayor was there and he was talking about how hot it was, 97 degrees at kickoff time.
Shout out to everyone that was there,
Right. I mean, the mayor was there and and the Noocher just balled out. The Nooch can play in cold weather, hot weather, don't matter where the Nooch plays. The Nooch is just there to play football.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
Yeah. See how you just mooching over this dude. Go ahead, Colin.
And too, I think it's important to note about Seattle, Morgan Ellison. We haven't. I believe he's been out with injury, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
They've been sort of balling without him, and I think as soon as if he gets back, I haven't really been keeping updated on how his injury is going, but that's just another thing. And talking about that DC Seattle game, hey, we've seen Seattle end an undefeated streak once before this season. I wouldn't put it past them. I think that's going to be an interesting game.
And Colin, look where they're playing. Arlington, look where they're playing in Seattle.
Yep.
So, it's going to be interesting. But listen, as long as they got the Nooch back there, baby, I'm riding on the Noocher.
This is the X-Fan Show, ladies and gentlemen. I am one of your co-hosts, A-Train. Joining me is
the Nooch.
That is my co-host of this show, the one and only. You're not gonna say anything?
The Nooch.
And then below me is my co-host of the other show that I'm a part of, which is a whole lot cleaner, a whole less messier, and a whole way more professional. Is my co-host of the Rough 'Em Up podcast, the one, the only,
Cullen Watkins. What is up, everyone?
Yes. So you can say, y'all can see the difference between the two people that I deal with on a weekly basis and the type of shows that you're going to get each time that we're on your screens. All right. So, yeah.
See, like here, Jared says, hold on. I'm giving you guys a compliment. Jared says the Rough 'Em Up podcast is calm and relaxing. That's why we built the X-Fan Legion, is to bring all of these shows together. Look, the X-Fan Show may not be your cup of tea. It may be the Rough 'Em Up podcast is your guys' cup of tea. The Smoking Guns show may be your cup of tea.
And make sure you catch them
Live.
tonight.
Yeah, might be your cup of tea.
Make sure you catch
So go check them all
tonight.
out. You know.
Yes, Chris. He does do what his wife tells him to do. So if his wife would tell him if he needs to leave and go do some yard work, he will leave, and Cullen will do the rest of the show with you. Straight up.
You're right. If she did,
and you know it.
You're right. And the X-Fan show is chaos with the tornado dirty. You're absolutely right. Oh, before we move on any further, big shout out, or a lot of thoughts and prayers out to our families in the Southwest that were affected by the tornadoes that came through over the weekend. Sad. Let's all love somebody. So much love to the people in the Southwest too.
Yeah, especially in the state of Mississippi, man. They dealt with a bunch of devastation, and I know in order it's going to be some work with hopefully the Red Cross is jumping on board and helping them out like right away, because they're definitely going to need it at this time. What's going on, Wyatt? Good afternoon.
If you need a new home, if you need a new home and you live in Alabama, go look up Bert Thrice. He'll hook you up with a new home there in Alabama.
Right.
Anyways, the game people, the game I could care two flying rat's butts about. The Las Vegas Vipers versus the St. Louis Battlehawks. Look, listen, the only reason why we won is because we played a team that really wasn't that good.
No. I'm not going to let you say that. I'm not going to let you say that.
Look, AJ McCarron finally. Brian, we already gave our thoughts and prayers to the families in Nashville. That's how I started off the show.
Come on, man. It's delayed. You already know it's going to get late.
Yeah. My bad. Anyways, listen, the reason why AJ McCarron had such a good game was because he played against Vegas, okay? Look, AJ has gotten better, okay? But here's what I still kept seeing. Hike. Pass the ball to Akeem Butler. Hike. Pass the ball to Akeem Butler. Hike. Pass the ball to Akeem. Still no progressions.
What? Are you serious right now?
Hey,
Are you
come
serious?
on, dude. Did you listen? You're right. Listen, you're right. 19 for 20 because he played a bad team. No,
you take what the defense gives you.
Okay,
That's
you
what
take
you
what
do.
the defense. Colin, let me ask
He
you a
didn't get
question.
19 straight completions.
We're gonna mute Arlington, Colin, because Arlington's talking nonsense now. Colin, you have some sense, okay? Let me ask you a question. You watched the game last night, right?
Last night, yeah.
Okay. And did you see two quarterbacks in Cole McDonald and Jordan Ta'amu looking down receivers doing progressions last night?
Yeah, I'd say I did. They were very proactive in that sense.
Right. Now, when you watched AJ and Luis Perez, did you see them doing this? Or did you just see hike?
Sure, maybe. Okay, it wasn't a Cole McDonald, Jordan Ta'amu-esque performance. Sure, but with that being said, I do see the stat line for AJ McCarron: 23 for 29, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions.
I'm not disagreeing. It was a complete game against a crappy team.
But I mean, I see where you're coming from, but I don't know. I like AJ McCarron so far this year. I think he's been leading the team well.
Thank you.
I mean, look, the good doctor says Dirty speaks the truth here in one sentence, and then his next dumb comment comes back with AJ had a great game. He is heads and tails above Jordan as a QB.
Okay.
Gets playing a crappy team. Yes, you are.
I get that, but listen, AJ McCarron right now, I will tell you right now, Brandon Silver's kind of moved down the MVP list, or at least for quarterback of the year.
Yeah, listen, I agree with you. I 100% agree with you on that.
AJ McCarron had moved up a bit. He has moved to the top spot. Hey, you can say what you want. Jordan Ta'amu is great, but he's not in that conversation. Abram Smith will probably be in that conversation with the McCarron and Ben DiNucci because of what he does offensively. That's why. That's why right now I love Jordan know we love him, especially on this show. But this thing here, you gotta look at Abram Smith, right? He still ran for over 90 yards against the Houston Roughnecks, right? So, and the 218 he had right now is pretty much by far one of the best.
I'd love to smoke with Josh Gordon.
Hey, I would too. I ain't gonna lie, but but that's
I'm not gonna lie.
But my point is this: if you're looking at three of the best offensive players right now in the league, is you're looking at of course I hate to say it, DiNucci, McCarron, and Abram Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, Tiamu is being really, really smart and just making sure he makes the right plays. Because if you really look at it, Dirty, that's what he was trying to do in St. Louis, was make the smart plays. And we were giving him a lot of crap because we wanted him to take the ball down the field. He was only giving what the offense was telling, what his coordinators were telling him, what Chuck Long was telling him, and what John Hayes was telling him. But the difference is you have a guy like Fred Cosset is telling them to make smart plays, but also
doesn't go up during your show, Colin.
I know. I don't know who this is, but guess what?
It's Colin. I saw him looking at his phone.
I'm supposed to answer.
I can't. Hey, and that person will be fine at the end of the person knows what I'm doing right now. Like, unless it is an emergency.
It was Colin's phone, not yours, idiot.
Was
yours ringing too?
No, that wasn't my phone. I was checking. I have my ringer on. I
apologize, Colin. It was our esteemed co-host. Yeah. Oh God. Anyways, back to what we were saying. Listen,
but that's the thing.
I'm not saying AJ. I'm not saying Jordan's better than Ta'amu. AJ has had some great games. AJ is number 2 in the league in passing yards. He leads the league in touchdowns, right?
Yes.
But has he made, I mean, he might be, possibly the most complete quarterback of all of these things. What I'm tired of seeing is him just staring down his receivers and not going through progressions. That's what I'm tired of seeing. And, you're figuring you're into week 6, you shouldn't be doing that by now. And don't get me wrong, AJ would probably have a lot more yards if Hakeem Butler and Austin Pearl and Shepard could actually hold on to a ball. I mean, Shepard, literally a wide open ball, and drops it. Come on, dude.
Did he not catch 2 touchdowns?
He did, but how do you listen? Hold on, dude. Hold on. Look. I'm not playing armchair receiver or quarterback. Yes, I am.
Yes,
but if I have nobody by me that's 5 yards behind me, right, Colin? You would think you would catch the ball, right? Instead of dropping it. It hits you in the breadbasket, and you drop it.
Didn't that not happen? What was it? Yesterday's game, Houston to DC. Somebody dropped a wide open pass. Like, it was a cinch. Like,
I feel like that's happened a lot. I'm going to be real honest.
Right, exactly. Like here, it hit him in the chest. How do you miss it?
It happens, man. From what I've learned and heard, is that when the ball's coming, you instantly ready to run. I know that happened during the San Antonio Arlington game. That happened a bunch. Had it in the chest and was ready to take off, but you didn't secure the ball first and then take off. That was the issue. They were ready to take the ball and go.
I mean, does that win against Vegas really solidify anything for the Battlehawks in your guys' opinion? Because in mine, I say no.
Well, right now that got them sitting still at 4-2. They still own the head-to-head against Seattle, and they still got the number 2 spot in the North. So until they face each other in St. Louis or something changes, I see that the fact that St. Louis has still got the top spot. I mean, that second spot.
Yeah, and sure, it didn't solidify anything for the team, but a win's a win. It's in the win column. And, even talking about the Battlehawks and Defenders game, that the most recent one that happened, it was a close game. Like, I sort of forgot how close of a game it was. And McCarron, he played a solid game against a good defense. 236 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception.
Hold on, Colin.
I think St. Louis is definitely my pick for a playoff spot. It's going to be St. Louis and DC in the playoffs. I don't think Seattle's going to do it.
Look, I've said it with Seattle. They're going to go as far as they can ride DiNucci. If DiNucci screws them up, they can. What AJ is AJ is definitely the time manager and definitely does take with the defense. He is like I said, he is the most all well-rounded quarterback. I can understand why he gets frustrated with his receivers dropping the balls that he did. And then plus another reason why I don't really like AJ McCarron is because he went to Alabama. What's good came out of Alabama?
And that's the thing that I'm finding out from fans is that the reason why they're tuning into the XFL is because of McCarron and his Alabama ties. So that's a good thing for those that can't catch the game in an XFL city.
Right, and it says it right here. It's a game that the Seahawks should have had won, and they did. You're right. It was a game they should have won. Yeah. Okay, now when they go into Houston, let's hope he plays a good game because that's going to be hard. And I'm going to wait to hear what you guys say about it on Thursday with your guys' outlook on Houston and with the Battlehawks because it's
gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy for sure.
I think Wade Phillips is coming over. I think the son of bum is gonna make Anthony Beck his son of bum, in my opinion.
Hey, we want to thank Cullen Watkins for joining me. Hey, man, because we got to get prepared for. We're getting prepared for the show. So
that is true. Well, we got one more game, which it was the Brahmas versus the Renegades.
He said, "I'm good." Hey, look, you good, Cullen? You want to leave now?
I mean, because again, like I said earlier in the show, I think I was asleep for both of those games these past few weeks. So it's just I'm just so frustrated with both of those teams. I'm so frustrated because the Renegades, I love their defense, but my God, I lose brain cells watching that offense trying to work. It's horrible.
Hey,
listen. If San Antonio actually had a better, I mean, look, first, let's not get it twisted. San Antonio should have 2 wins on 2 games that they've lost. Okay, so they should have a better record than what they do. Okay, you can't deny that their defense is right up there with DC's defense. You can't deny that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they have Williams, who is the number 1 guy in picks, right? I mean,
Barku.
Corner. Well, and then you got Jordan Williams, their linebacker, who leads the league in tackles, right? I mean, it's a really good defensive team, and I mean, look, everybody, but listen, all you guys you wanted Jack Cohn, and what did Dirty say in the very beginning of the year? I said the dude was a douche because he played at Notre Dame. He wasn't that good. And what happened? Bow to the master. I was right. You guys were all wrong. Okay? You guys were all wrong. I was right. Arlington, what did I say about Jack Cohn?
Okay.
I said he was a bum. He was a bum. Did I not say it? Said he was a bum. I said Ryan Sonnett was a bum. Shows out he's a bum. Juwan
right.
Pass.
Thank you, good doctor. He never said that. Never said that.
I did too. I mean, name one good player that other came out of Notre Dame besides Joe Montana.
Come on, man. We ain't even talking about that. Thank you.
I'm just saying. But, you got a guy who got catfished by some make-believe person.
Yeah, we're done with that one. Thank you very much for your time, right? Okay. So at this rate right now, Juwan Pass and we got Kurt Banker that they just signed over not too long ago, right? Wednesday. Cool. So you mean to tell me, and then I love ESPN for doing it. Kurt Banker won his first game. No, that ain't how this works. You didn't give any credit to Juwan Pass at all, who helped get that win. And I'm like, what you're not going to do is diminish Juwan passes work. Now you can sit there all day talking about something he didn't really do anything. Yeah, he did something because they won the game. You know, he did enough where they're able to get the dub. All right. But I know the whole story is Kurt Banker, but Juwan Pass was a part of the game. He started the game. Like, don't diminish him like that. And I understand this is a league where if it's a league of opportunity, you give everybody that. Don't do that to Juwan Pass, man. Shout out to Prairie View A&M University. Careful. You be very careful. I swear I will make a flight and come kick your ass.
Listen, he's got everything from the shoulder, from the neck down to be good. He just needs to grow up a little up here like I do. He don't have it up here like me. He might be just a little bit touched, just like me.
All right. Hey, we gotta get Colin to go, man. Hey, because Colin got some other stuff you got to do, man. Colin, thanks, man. So much coming on, man.
I'll see y'all and thank y'all again. Go Roughnecks.
Thanks, Rough 'em Up podcast, baby. All about them Roughnecks. Definitely get them on. We gotta do an aftermath of Houston and St. Louis, baby. Can't wait to do it.
Yes, you guys could check them out Thursday. The Rough 'em Up podcast drops. So check them out Thursday. You can find them on the X Fan Show, and you can find them at all their other stuff, their YouTube page, and all that good stuff.
HBCU, baby. Prairie View.
Look, you know me. I'm a huge fan of the HBCs. I mean, one of my favorite schools. One of my favorite schools is Grambling State because of the movie Drumline.
All right. Hey, what is this? Coach said himself that he wasn't going to play pass because he needed to learn more. Well, he played them because you needed the help. And listen, there were times where he overthrew many of his receivers. But look, the kid's nervous. Come on, man. He's getting the shot to play, right? And he's being thrusted into this mix. And I'm going to defend him. I don't care. My thing is, if you chose him to go out there and play, that's what he's going to do. And you got to work with him. That's what you were supposed to be doing these past 5 weeks anyway, is working with your quarterbacks to get them prepared for this moment, because the moment may come and it may have been too big for him because he was nervous. I saw it. He was very nervous being out there.
Well, look, and again, like I said earlier in the year, that a wide receiver cannot be a head coach. I proved that right?
No, you didn't, because Barlow's a wide receiver. Barlow's a wide receiver. Now, what you got to say to that one?
No, Barlow wasn't a wide receiver.
Barlow's a wide receiver.
Yeah, that's fake news. You show it to me. You can pull it up, show it to me. That's fake news.
Hey, y'all pull it up. Y'all pull it up. Fans pull it up. Reggie Barlow's a wide receiver. What you should have said was Barlow has head coaching experience and Hines Ward does not. That's what you should have said.
I'm pulling it up right now. Reggie Barlow. Let's see.
Read what it's saying. Don't lie either.
Well, I mean, you know me.
Yeah, thank you. When you say some stuff like that, I already know you're about to lie. You about to lie now. You about to lie. You're about to lie. You know it.
Can I pull it up, or are you going to keep talking?
No, because you're about to lie is what you're about to do.
All Reggie Barlow was
wide
was a
receiver.
Specialist.
See, I knew you was gonna lie. I knew you was gonna start lying.
Right here.
That's all you gonna do. Start lying. That's it. You started lying.
Did you know that he won a Super Bowl?
Yes, I did. Hey, as a matter of fact, sir, why don't you, for the people, pull up Reggie Barlow's stuff so everybody else can see what you see?
Look, he only had 39 receptions in his entire NFL career.
Pull it up. Did you say 30 receptions? What does that make him?
39 receptions.
What did that make him, though? What position did he play?
He played.
What position did he play?
It's not telling me.
Oh, yeah. See, I knew the lines was going to come out. Exactly my point. Thank you. So hey, I just told you was going to lie. Thank you. He was a wide receiver.
That's all.
No, you're not gonna do me like that, man. No, exactly.
He was a punt returner.
That's all you can do is lie at this point. Fake news, sir. He was a wide receiver. But
I lost my camera.
Hey, that means Reggie Barlow.
I lost my camera. gentlemen, welcome to the most unprofessional professional show on the internet.
Hey, y'all. Hey, yo, for real. We wrap this show up for real because we got to get out of here. I got to go.
Why isn't it not working anymore? I can see my camera is there. Hold on. Hold on, I do gotta say something. Hold on, I have to say something. Screw it, I just won't use my camera the rest of the show.
Hey, shout out to Defending the Lemons.
Yeah, shout out to Defending
the Lemons. Oh my gosh, make sure you go to dcdefenders.shopify.com.
Yeah, see right here. Reggie Barlow was the best place kicker holder ever.
Play the music so we can get up out of here, dude, for real. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Now, this Sunday, if you were in the St. Louis area, we are doing our very last show, our very last away watch party at Murphy's on 21. We're starting at 10:30. We've partnered up with the STL Tailgate. We're actually going to be barbecuing starting at 10:30, and I will be serving Don Julio shots, dollar shots out of a dumpster. So come
y'all better be careful.
Come buy your Dom Juan shots. I have no idea what's going on because my camera's gone. This is the X-Fan show, and Dirty is an idiot. Thank you guys for joining us.
See you later.
See ya.